Good afternoon, my name is Maffer and I'll be your English teacher in this course. So I hope that you really guys you can enjoy the rest of the course. We're gonna learn many things in this course. And so I hope you really enjoy it and that you can learn about this. So today we're going to talk, the first topic is going to be the simple past. So when we are talking about simple past, it's something that happens, as the word says, happens in the past, but it's already finished. It's completed. So all of the sentences that we write down, they have regular verbs and they have irregular verbs. So the regular verbs are those ending in irregular verbs are those that changes completely. So if we can write down a sentence with simple past, we have this specific rule that we need to follow, which is the subject plus the simple past plus the object. Okay, so a sentence for simple past is composed about the subject, the simple past, plus the object. So if we can start write down a sentence about this, I will give you an example about this sentence. So it will be, for example, okay, so the sentence, it says the subject, which is I, and then the simple past, which is was at the resort for 1 week. So that's gonna be our sentence about the simple past. And now we're gonna have another. So we're gonna have another example right now about simple past. So we're gonna use this one, which is the chef cook. We're gonna, as this is a regular verb, we're gonna add ed at the end because this is a regular verb. So the chef cooked the meal. So this is going to be our sentence. So the chef basically is the subject that we are talking about in the sentence, and cook is the verb in past, and then the complement, which is the meal. So this is another sentence in simple past. As you know, in simple past we have the positive sentence, we have the negative sentence, and we have the interrogative sentence. So we're gonna start, this is a positive sentence. So now I'm gonna give you an example with the negative sentence and interrogative sentence, okay? So this is the chef cooked the meal, this is the positive sentence, and now we're going to verify the negative sentence. So it will be the chef. We're gonna add did not, because this is part of the negative negative sentence, did not cook. And here's something important. When we are doing a negative sentence or interrogative sentence, we are not going to write down cooked. So we are gonna remove the ed on those sentences. So it's going to be, the chef did not cook the meal. So this is how the sentence is going to be in simple past. The person that we are talking about, which is the chef, and then we're gonna add did not, for we can convert it into a negative sentence, and then cook the meal. Okay, so let me write down with interrogative sentence right now. Okay, so with the interrogative sentence, we are going to add did. Did, this is going to be for interrogative questions. Did the chef cook the meal? And then the question mark. So it's gonna be, did the chef cook the meal? Okay? So it's pretty easy, right? So we're gonna see some another topics right now. And we are going to talk about another important topic, which is the present perfect. So, present perfect is a little bit difficult for many people, but it's just about practice and that all of you guys can learn. So basically, the present perfect is talking about something that happens something that happened in the past. But it's still happening right now in the present, so it's not like finished yet. So we are going. So today, guys, I'm going to show you how you can write a sentence in present perfect. So let's continue with the topic. So we can write out. We can write down a sentence with present perfect. We need the subject. Remember that the subject is the person that we are going to talk about in the sentence. It can be, for example, he, she, the chef, the waiter is the person that we are going to talk about in the sentence. So we are going to add the have or has plus the past participle. So for example, we are going to write this. I'm going to give you an example. And the waiter, which is the subject, which is the person that we are talking about in the sentence. So we have the waiter, and then the waiter is he, so we are going to add have. The waiter have tried sushi before. You know what sushi means, right? It's this Japanese food with rice. So the sentence is going to be the waiter, which is the subject, plus have or has, which is this one, and then we're going to add the complement and the past participle. So the past participle will be a tried. Okay, so it's going to be the waiter have tried sushi before. And now we are going to do another example, which is going to be has. Remember that we can use have and has in the sentence, as this is for her, so we are going to use has. So she has written, which is the past participle. Written a letter to the waiter. Okay, so she, the subject, has written, which is, we need to add have or has, plus the past participle and the complement of the sentence. So the sentence will be, she has written a letter to the waiter. So this is the present perfect in a sentence. Remember that present perfect is something that happens in the past, but it's continued happening in the present. Okay? Happened in the past and is continuing in the present. And so now we are going to verify our next topic, guys, which is the difference between simple past and present perfect. Okay, so basically, when we are talking about simple past and simple and present perfect, there is such a big difference. For example, when we are talking about present perfect, this is like an action or something that is unfinished, something that happens in the past, and it continues with the present, so it's unfinished actions. And now when we are talking about the simple past, this is something that this is talking about the actions that are finished. Okay, so do you see the difference? So the difference is that the present perfect talks about unfinished actions, and the simple past is talking about finished actions, so unfinished actions and finished actions. So that's the difference between both. Okay, so we're going to do an example about this. For example, example with present perfect. So this is one and this is another. So the next example, it says that she has already made a big cake. So remember that this needs to include this plus the past participle made and already and the complement, which is a big cake. So remember, guys, the difference between both of this is that one is finished action, is a finished action, and the other one is an unfinished action. Okay, so so now, guys, our next topic is going to be how we can use for example, will and a time expression. So when we are talking about will, what do you guys think? that is will. I'm not sure if any of you have any idea. Don't? Okay. So I'm going to explain to you. Will, we are going to use will in a sentence when we are referring to future or something that is going to happen in the future. Okay? And now when we are talking about time expression, in the time expression, when we are talking about time expression, what do you think that it's a time expression? Does anybody know it? Okay, so yeah, time expression, we use it when we are talking about time, anything related about time, and we have many time expressions. I will give an example of those. A time expression will be, for example, next week. That will be an example. Next week. And then next Saturday. Okay? Next year. Next month. So that's when we are talking about time expressions, okay? So we're gonna try to do a sentence with will and with the time expression, okay? So for example, I will write down the sentence of the time expression is composed about the pronoun plus will plus the verb plus the complement and plus the time expression. I know it's a little bit larger, but it's not that difficult. We can make a shorter sentence if you want as well, but just remember to add the time expression. So it will be the pronoun. The pronoun is I, you, he, she, it, we, you, they, all that. So we can put anything. You can put anything you want. So for example, I'm going to talk about myself, okay? So we're going to add I. Sorry, my marker is not working, so we're going to change it. It will be I will. And the verb is what we are doing, eat, running. So in this case, I will put eat because I love eating. So I will put I will. We can do next week, next Saturday, next Monday. So we're gonna write down next month, for example, or next Saturday. So it will be I will eat pizza next Saturday. Okay. So remember that we are trying to focus on the word will, which is the time, which is referring to the future. And we are going to talk about, and we are talking about the time expression, okay? So the time expression in here is next Saturday, okay? So this will be an example of future using will and a time expression. We can make another sentences. For example, what can I tell you? Another example of a sentence, it will be I will travel. I will travel tomorrow. Okay? Remember, this is a positive sentence. And we have a negative sentence as well. How can we write down a negative sentence? So a negative sentence will be we're gonna add will, so I will, but we are going to use the word not. So I will not travel will I? So we're gonna change this will. We're gonna change it, okay? From side to side. So it's gonna be, will I travel tomorrow? This is the same, tomorrow. So it will be, will I travel tomorrow? And the question mark, okay? Will I travel tomorrow? Okay, so then with this we can answer yes, I will. This can be how you can answer a sentence with this. Yes, I will. Or no, I won't. That would be, want is the negative. Okay, so it will be no. No, I won't. Okay? So this is pretty much about future using time expression. Okay. So let's continue with the presentation, guys. So right now, we are going to talk about adverbs. Okay? So there is many types of adverbs. There's adverbs of frequency, of manner. There's many of them. Okay. So the adverbs are used, as I write down here, to describe verbs or actions that are done. Okay. So for example, when we are writing down an adverb, we need to add the ly at the end, okay? Always. And we can use adverbs in many situations. For example, one of those are how someone does anything. I'm sorry for my letter. So it will be how someone does anything. We can use adverbs for know how someone does anything. So for example, it will be the chef cooks slowly. Okay? So the sentence will be the chef cooks slowly. So if you can verify here, to slowly, we add ly at the end. So most of the adverbs we are going to add ly. Okay? So it will be the chef cooks slowly. It can be, as this is mentioned, how someone does anything. It can be slowly, fastly, there's many. And this is one way to describe the adverbs. Now I'm going to show you another one. But first I'm going to erase this, okay? So the next is, we can use adverbs about to describe how something happens. We can know how something happens. How something happens. Okay, so I will give you an example so you can better understand. For example, the customer read the book carefully. Okay, so we can use it to know how something happens. How something happens. So this will be the customer L-Y, okay? Carefully. So repeat after me. Carefully, okay? So it's how something happens, okay? So because we read the book carefully or noisily, we can add just ly, okay? So this is an example of another way of how you can use the adverbs. And now I'm going to show you the last one, like I can say way you can use adverbs, okay? So the last one is to describe an adjective. Okay, so the next way is to describe an adjective, okay? For example, the chef is incredibly happy. Okay, so incredibly, that will be the adverb. Remember ly at the end? So it will be the chef is incredibly happy. Okay, so you can guys repeat after me. Incredibly. Okay, so this is an adverb, incredibly. So the chef is incredibly happy. This is the last way how we can use an adverb. So the chef is incredibly happy. So here is the adverb, ly at the end, and then happy. Okay, so this is another way how we can use the adverbs. Remember that most of the adjectives change the adverb. Okay, most of the adjectives change the adverbs. Okay, so I think that this was all for today, guys. I hope and I really hope that you have learned a lot today, because as you can verify, we've seen many topics today which are very important, because if you guys want to learn English, you need to practice, because just by practicing is the only way that you're going to learn English. So today we have seen many important topics that can help you guys for you can start learning English, and I hope that you also practice at home, okay? So it was really a pleasure to have you today in my class, and I hope to see you during all my classes. So I hope you guys have a great day, and thank you so much for joining the class. All of you have a great day. Thank you so much. Okay guys, so I know we've been seeing many topics today, but we need to continue, okay? So right now we are going to talk about the next topic, which is should. Does anybody of you know what should means? No? Okay. So when we are talking about should, it's like a recommendation, okay? Or like an advice that you give to someone. I can give an example for example, but before, when we are talking about should, it's we can write down a sentence with should. We need to include the next, which is the pronoun plus should plus the verb plus the complement. It's like an extra, right? So, for example, you should live with your girlfriend. That would be an example. So, I'm gonna write down in here the examples for you can better understand what I'm trying to say. So, the next will be the waiter should wait the food. Okay. So here it says this is the positive sentence. Positive, which is the waiter should wait the food. Okay? So here we can find, okay? The waiter should wait the food. So this is should is here. It's like a recommendation for the waiter to wait for the food. And then we're gonna write down a negative sentence. The waiter should. What is the negative part of should? Does anybody of you know it? Okay. The negative part of should is shouldn't. Okay. So it will be the waiter should not wait the food. Okay, so the negative in here it will be should not. For we can use should not, we can use the contraction, which is like a way to shorten the words. So the contraction will be shouldn't. So it will be shouldn't. Okay? So that's the negative part of should. Shouldn't. Okay. And the question, it will be here. Should. We're gonna start with should. Should the waiter wait for the food? I'm gonna put this just for again. Right now. Okay, so should the waiter wait the food? Should the waiter wait the food? So that will be the question, okay? So that's pretty much about should, guys. I hope you did understand this important word about suggestion, so you can use it in the future, or you can give an advice to someone. And now we are going to talk about to and enough, which is very different words. When we are talking about the word to, is this is something that means more than we want. Usually, or most of the time, it's something negative. Okay, so when we are using to, it's usually we can use to. We need to use to plus the adjective. So an example for this, it will be or it can be like this, the opposite term, as you want to do it in the sentence. So it will be the food, it's too hot. So the food, it's too hot. That means that exceeds. Okay. So this is more than we usually wanted. Okay. So this is pretty much about two. Okay. So two is when we are talking about something that exceeds. Okay. So the food is too hot. And as I told you before, this most of the times means something negative. Okay. So now we are going to talk about enough. Enough, when we are talking about enough, this is like not too much. It's not the exactly amount. Does not exceed what we want. Okay, so for example, when we are talking about enough is something that we need or we want, is the right amount, or is acceptable without excess. Okay? So enough is something that is acceptable without excess. Okay? So when we are talking about two, it's excess, right? And when we are talking about enough, it's something with no excess. Okay? It's something acceptable. So for this example, the food is too hot. So now we are going to add something with enough. I'm gonna erase this for you can better understand what I'm trying to say right now. So, oh sorry, I just deleted the topic. So now we're going to talk about enough. Okay? I'm not sure if many of you have heard that word before. Most of the time it's at the movies. Like, no, it's enough. So, okay, we're gonna add enough. So, we can write down enough is an adjective plus enough. Or it can be the same, one first and then the other, or it can be both, okay? So, the sentence with enough, it will be the food it's enough for the event. Okay, so the food is enough for the event. So basically we are using enough in this part of the sentence. So when we are talking about enough, it's something that is not exceeding. Okay, so that means that the food that we were requesting, it was enough. It was complete for cover the event. Okay, the event. Okay, so that's pretty much the difference about two and enough. So remember, guys, two, it's something that exceeds, and enough is something that does not exceed. Okay?